What is the most awkward moment you've experienced at a family gathering? How did you handle it? I remember when I was about 17, I was on a ski holiday with my then girlfriend and her family. She was feeling ill in the morning, and during breakfast with her whole family I asked her if it was morning sickness. I had no idea that morning sickness was related to pregnancy. I just thought it was something that women got from time to time. I still cringe about that, a lot. During a family wedding, I was drinking adult's punch when I was 12, thinking it was the regular punch. An hour into the reception and I'm trying to dance up a storm, absolutely failing and not understanding why I felt so funny. My parents were mortified, but my great-uncle thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever seen. He still brings it up every Thanksgiving. My great-uncle drank too much whiskey, asked my stepfather, who's a doctor, for a prescription for Viagra, then his false teeth fell out and onto his plate. Bearing in mind our family is very Catholic, and very prudish, and his wife had passed away a few years before. I ran to the kitchen and howled with laughter. My mother not so much? Dennis greeted his cousin Joe with, "Hey Joe, what's up you dirty cocksucker?" Joe's friend that he brought with him got upset and told Dennis off. Not from Dennis, but Joe's friend's reaction was the moment Joe was out to the rest of the family. Suddenly they realized why Joe had dropped out of college to help an old man, and the old man left him a farm, a house, cars and money. I'm a huge prude, especially around family, but I always give the best gifts for Christmas, or try to anyway. One Christmas I got my mom a huge Katy Perry fan, a Katy Perry CD that came with a Katy Perry thong. Even though I'm the one that bought the gift and wrapped it and gave it to my mom, I was still bright red the whole time as the whole family was laughing, shocked at the gift. Then when my brother-in-law opened his gift from me, it was a Justin Bieber blow-up doll with a box of tissues. Everybody laughed again and was so confused. I won Christmas that year. Later on, when my 90-year-old grandmother came over for the party, my brother's friend was showing her pictures on his phone. Nana swiped right and saw a nude and yelled "I Putin!" and tossed his phone across the room. Yes, it was a very sexy Christmas. Grandpa pointing a knife at my dad and uncle, saying their wives, my mom and aunt, turned them against him, and that my grandma on my mother's side was manipulating my mother, who was then manipulating my father against my grandpa. Easily the most awkward family gathering ever, or a gathering in general I've been present on. I had to tell the funeral director that I was my dad's daughter, not just some random person sitting in the family seats at his graveside. They were under the impression he only had one daughter because she's the only one they heard about. We share the same parents, thus the same family. At a family reunion, someone brought a copy of Richard Kind's Party Starters. It's a kit with a series of questions that are meant to stimulate conversations and liven up a situation. They must have brought the naughty edition, because when they pulled out a card and the first question was, "Have you ever gone down on a relative?" When I was pregnant with my middle child, my dad threw a huge party for my mother's birthday. They got a DJ and invited 100 of their closest friends to their house for this party. I was 5 months pregnant and already huge, partly because I was tiny to begin with, 5 feet 1 inch and 96 pounds pre-pregnancy, and it was my second child. So, I walk into the party wearing a red and polka-dotted jumper which accentuated my bump. My dad walks over and says, "Wow, you sure popped. You shouldn't have sat on something, you should have ate." He didn't say it loud, but, of course, at that exact moment the DJ finished a song and it had gone dead quiet and everyone heard him. I went pink. It was so cringy, and the fact that everyone heard him made it worse. I just walked away and didn't talk to him the rest of the night. He apologized profusely the next day and realized what an inappropriate comment it was, and he was sorry everyone had heard him make such an awful comment. That was 22 years ago. We got over it. My partner's mom, who had just had surgery and was fully awake but still very woozy, if that makes sense, had just been wheeled into her hospital room to start recovery. Present were her 2 kids, and each one's significant other, me included. The first person she asked for was the guy long-distance texting 3 weeks prior. When the nurse told her what recovery would look like, her first question was whether she'd be able to fly cross-country to meet aforementioned guy. All 4 of us, her 2 actual children especially, felt more than a little weird about that. This was like a week ago BTW. I was visiting my extended family last year who all lives out of state. We all got together to hang out for a few days and to have a celebration of life for my grandma, who passed a few months prior. They're all pretty old, like in their 60s and 70s. We were playing Phase 10 late one night with my grandma's siblings. I was sitting by my brother, who has absolute no filter on his mouth. During the game, my grandma's brother kept saying that he was having a hard time doing something, but the word "come" was in his sentences a few times. My brother kept blurting out that it sounds like a bedroom issue, which confused everyone. I just pretended that I left something in my car and I called my brother to tell him to come meet me outside. We argued for like 10 minutes, but then all was good. Back in like 2002, driving with my girlfriend on some dirt roads just outside my town at night in the spring of the year. I caught the shoulder of the road, and due to everything being wet from the snow melting, put my car in the ditch. Dad had to come pull me out. The next weekend I'm at a family gathering with my girlfriend, and my uncle looks at me in front of everyone and says, "What happened? You get her head caught in the steering wheel." I know I turned about 10 shades of red. To get to the back porch of my grandma's new house, gotta go through a bathroom in the back. I was 10, I needed to pee. Saw the first bathroom and then my brothers open the back door and I see everyone on the back porch looking at me whilst I almost pulled my pants down. They just told me I could go into my grandma's room to her bathroom. Edit, I don't get awkward, but I think everyone else did. It counts, right? Does it count when my mom caught my cousin's husband in the closet with a bridesmaid before the wedding? It was awkward, but got even more awkward when my cousin still married the guy a little bit later that day. She still wonders why her marriage didn't work out, but I think it's obvious to most people. I was 20 dating a girl that was 18 and in the final months of high school. Her mom was absolutely fine with it, her dad hated everything and wasn't that okay with it, so I had to toe a line. I went to pick her up one night to go out and most of her family was at her house hanging out. I say hi to everyone and then her mom looks at me and says, "So, my name, do you know what the word perky means?" My heart dropped, I could feel my cheeks get red, sweat began to build and I said I do. Why? I knew why she asked and I began to panic. She tells me that my girlfriend had told her that I said she had perky boobs, and what did that mean? I wished she had just Googled it or asked a friend, but she asked her mom. Her dad just glared at me, her aunt and uncle began cracking up and I'm thinking maybe I'm in the clear. Then her dad says, just like her mom, I guess. Her dad and I got along fairly well after that.
Hey guys, this is the Rogue YouTuber here. I recently had a big change in my life. I had a baby daughter. Here she is. If you could do me a favor and remember to hit the subscribe button and bang the bell, I'm hoping to really create a YouTube channel that really gets people excited and brings people the best, most interesting content collated from across the internet. I'm saving up to save my little girl to Carnegie Mellon Computer Science Department. So please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.